You're sitting in gridlocked traffic. The power keeps flickering at your apartment, and the news feels like a constant stream of localized disasters. It's easy to write off these daily stressors as the unavoidable cost of modern life. But scientists have just released a massive dump of data that identifies the specific biological and behavioral patterns buried within our most mundane daily inconveniences. Take that morning commute. Researchers have found a direct correlation between living in neighborhoods with high traffic noise and a steady, increased risk of developing Parkinson's disease over time. The constant hum outside your window is actively interacting with your long-term neurological health. Then there's lunch. A diet heavy in highly processed fast food has a clear biological link to depression-like behavior. However, in a recent preclinical study, scientists successfully reversed those exact behavioral symptoms in mice using nothing more than standard aspirin. Even the social friction of dating is being quantified. Behavioral scientists have mapped out dating profiles to identify a mathematical sweet spot for self-disclosure. Share exactly this optimal amount of personal information, and your match rate maximizes. Our localized anxieties, from finding a date to surviving a noisy commute, are no longer just vague frustrations. They are quantifiable systems, and emerging science is showing us exactly how to solve them. But personal solutions hit a wall when the physical infrastructure around us starts to buckle. Right now, extreme heat waves are paralyzing countries across the globe, forcing crowds in Tokyo to shield themselves from 40°C conditions, while triggering massive power grid failures in Tunisia. Traditional metrics for tracking air conditioning demand often fail because they rely solely on temperature. Climate scientists are introducing a new metric called effective cooling degree days, which accounts for the way high humidity tanks refrigeration efficiency, offering a much more accurate map of why our power infrastructure is suddenly struggling. To meet that spiking energy demand and navigate supply disruptions in the Middle East, global coal-fired power generation is projected to rise. This resurgence in heavy emissions is directly threatening the timeline for our renewable energy targets. Even our best environmental intentions are creating new blind spots. National-scale food waste composting aims to divert organic matter from landfills, but the process of turning that waste into fertilizer is accidentally introducing tens of thousands of tons of microplastics straight into our agricultural soils, and the responsibility for this environmental impact is heavily skewed. When mapping dietary climate footprints, researchers found that highly educated urban men consuming high meat diets account for the highest individual environmental impact, while rural women hold the lowest. This demographic divide also dictates who survives these events. By tracking smartphone location data during California wildfires, researchers discovered that adults in higher education neighborhoods shelter indoors from toxic smoke at vastly higher rates than those in less educated areas, exposing a severe gap in how health information is acted upon. Current climate pressures now function as a direct driver of infrastructure failure, food contamination, and immediate health inequality. Fortunately, the tools we use to navigate these problems are evolving rapidly. Under strict timed conditions, AI models have finally matched top human contestants by scoring a perfect 100% on the International Mathematical Olympiad. But artificial intelligence is also conquering soft skills. Studies show that large language model chatbots are now providing everyday emotional support and actionable guidance that is comparable to human responses. And in contexts like fear or anger, the AI can actually be more effective. That same processing efficiency is being applied to the sky. New AI-based atmospheric emulators can generate sub-seasonal weather forecasts up to 350 times cheaper than traditional supercomputers, allowing us to track shifting global weather modes with a fraction of the computing power. Artificial intelligence now serves as a high-precision tool, capable of navigating both elite mathematical logic and the subtleties of human emotional support. This diagram illustrates a breakthrough dual-therapy lipid nanoparticle platform. By co-delivering p53 and cyclopurox directly into cells, it successfully breaks down the defenses of therapy-resistant oral squamous cell carcinomas, shrinking tumors that previously evaded treatment. Looking at this scientific illustration, we see human T cells interacting with 250 nanometer pores. Researchers discovered that immune cells can be triggered into full activation purely by the physical shape of this nanoscale surface topography, completely bypassing the need for traditional biochemical signals. This 3D segmentation maps the complex architecture of human airway epithelial defense cells. By combining AI with super-resolution imaging, scientists now have a nanometer-scale blueprint of the exact mechanisms our lungs use to defend against pathogens. Out in the wild, we are seeing similar quiet victories. Tiny tree snails, which had vanished from their native habitats for 40 years, have just made a historic, documented comeback. From the physical triggers of our immune system to the quiet recovery of fragile species, biological systems possess a hidden mechanical resilience. We are finally learning exactly how to trigger it. Of course, nature still has plenty of bizarre curveballs. Off the coast, orcas have been observed ramming heavy fish so hard they explode, seemingly just for the fun of it, while sperm whales have figured out how to achieve restful sleep entirely vertically. Down at the subatomic level, things get even stranger. This map and hardware schematic show the first real-world quantum internet leaving the lab. Researchers successfully transmitted entangled photons over 24 kilometers of active telecom fiber linking Evanston and Chicago. Looking at the multiplexer diagram here, you can see they transmitted delicate quantum signals on the exact same physical fiber as heavy classical data traffic, keeping them spectrally separated without losing fidelity. This chart compares the regular, medial, and inverted mass hierarchies of the Higgs boson family. Using machine learning, physicists are mapping these structures to pinpoint parameter regions that match current collider data, slashing computational times. Looking at these neural network nodes, you're seeing a counterintuitive computing breakthrough. Engineers found that introducing controlled quantum noise into AI models actually improves their ability to classify handwritten digits, turning hardware limitations into a performance advantage. And this microscopic thermal image captures quantum heat waves operating at room temperature. Inside boron arsenide, heat doesn't diffuse randomly. It propagates along highly focused, ray-like paths defined by the crystal structure. At the fundamental atomic level, our reality operates on highly counterintuitive rules. Engineers are finally capturing that chaos and turning it into tangible technology. Scale that up to the cosmos, and the universe is just as gizzy. The James Webb Space Telescope recently captured a rare glimpse of a supermassive black hole actively growing inside a network of young galaxies. To understand distant geology, researchers are looking at the ground beneath us. They use radar signatures of Hawaii's ropey lava flows as a terrestrial proxy to interpret the volcanic history written across the surface of the moon. Keeping our eyes on the sky is also a matter of survival. Experts warn our current power grids and satellite networks are unprepared for the intense, extreme solar storms that are likely to occur in the future. These particle trajectories show one of the strangest discoveries of the week. In fluids like chocolate syrup, the material can literally store a physical memory of the direction and amplitude it was stirred, holding on to that history until a stronger force erases it. From the vastness of solar storms to the molecular memory of a liquid, the universe is relentlessly chaotic. But by measuring and mapping that chaos, science provides us the ultimate survival guide to navigating our everyday lives.